And I think it's sad because I don't think we really love the Most High enough. You can't exalt him enough. So we made him cry 2 times. We as chosen people. Think about how we said, all you need is me. And we said, we don't want you. We want a king to be over us. That hurt his feelings. Even from the beginning. He told us as the Edomites, we were in paradise. We were in what we're trying to get to now. We were in everlasting life. For over 900 years. We were in paradise. And we chose to follow the devil, the serpent, Satan, the beast, the dragon, all spirits of negativity and not positivity. Made the Most High cry 2 times, he said. He said, all you need is me. He said, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But you can eat of me and live forever and ever and ever. And my son, the tree of life. That's what Mashiach Bashai said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I'm the way to show you how to follow the truth, which is the laws of the Most High that's going to lead to everlasting life. Ain't nothing new under the sun. That's why he put the flaming swords around the tree of life. Else once we went into wickedness, evil, we ate of the tree of life and brought forth, you can't even imagine. If he'd allowed us to eat of the tree of life and live forever in wickedness. Man. That's why I say it's not enough love for the Most High. But he gonna get him a name. He got one more time. Just one more time, that's it. Bring forth the destruction and the judgment upon this earth. He gonna get him a name. Don't be concerned about it. Because he's going to be all in all. That's what this is all about. But see, you start learning about you an Israelite, next thing you know, you forget about him. It's all about Israel, Israel, Israel. And Israel ain't going to do a damn thing for you in bringing forth salvation. That's why he told us in Deuteronomy 28 and 29, ain't no man going to save you. He ain't never had pity on us as a nation till we cried to him. Oh, but you can't do it if you're prideful. Look at another example. Go to Luke, the 18th chapter. Look at this case of pride. Verse 9, and he spake this parable, it's a riddle, unto certain which trusted in themselves, that they were righteous, and despised others. Just like a lot of y'all think, hey, y'all want to point the finger at somebody. And say, oh, they are 2/3 because the Most High killed them in a massacre. So you think you righteous and you despising others. If the shoe fit, you gotta wear it. That's why you better humble yourself. You just learn how to read. Some of you still ain't reading properly to understand what this is talking about, else you wouldn't have that spirit. You would understand the examples that's here of life to know how you gotta change and become a new creature. Be born again. Be filled with the Spirit of the Most High. Become a new man, a new woman, with humility. You can understand? And he spake this parable, Luke 18:9, unto certain which trusted in themselves. Hear that? Trusted in themselves, not the Most High. That they were righteous and despised others. Let me show you something. Because a lot of you, I ask you, why the Most High deal with Job? And all of y'all have all kind of answers besides what's written in the scriptures. Y'all have all kind of answers besides what's written in these scriptures. And this is why the Most High dealt with Job. Overstand this. See if it don't sound familiar. In Job 34:5. For Job has said, I am righteous. See? That's why Job was dealt with. Because he said, I am righteous. He said he was righteous. Now, scriptures say, exalt others more than thyself. Somebody else can call him righteous, but you calling yourself righteous before the Most High? What did he just say? We all are what? Filthy rags. He said we ain't nothing but like a minstrel cloth. How are you going to call yourself righteous? And the Master Shah got to come back and teach us of the Most High 1,000 years. We know in part and prophesy in part. He that exalt himself shall be abased. He that humble himself shall be exalted. The Master Shah told us this. Well, let's go back to Luke 18:9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves. See, they trusted in themselves. They leaned on their own understanding. That's bad. That's bad business, man. That ain't nowhere to, there's no way to be, man. Trusting in your own self. That's dangerous. That's why Ecclesiasticus 3:24 says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, worthless opinion, and an evil suspicion is overthrown their judgment. So they allow evil to come in and overthrow their judgment. In this world, that's why the Most High said in Proverbs 16:4, the Most High created all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So you allow the spirit of this world, the power of this world, to come into your mind, the devil, whose purpose is to deceive the whole world, to make you make the wrong judgment. And you're going to pay for it. That's why you got to be thinking about these scriptures and compare life to these scriptures. So I say many are deceived by their own vain, worthless opinion, the way they think. And an evil suspicion is overthrown their judgment. When you end up making a decision that's evil, you're going to pay for it. Especially we that have been called. This ain't going to start with us. Look at Proverbs 3:5. It says, trust in the Most High with all thine heart. Trust in the Most High with all your mind. And lean not unto thine own understanding. Allow the devil to come in and make you make the wrong decision. That's why going back to Luke 18:9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves and not into the Most High. Not in trusted in the Most High. That they were righteous and despised others. You hear that? See, you can't get into this and look at, I cannot find myself looking down on someone that haven't come in yet. Because I wasn't in. And you know where you all came from. So you just all of a sudden woke up and all this information, all the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, understanding came to you without you sitting down learning from somebody. So you mean you open up the Bible and all of a sudden all these precepts came to you. Some of you still ain't studying enough to know precepts upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. The mysteries that's been hidden the Most High from the beginning of time, that's being brought out. How long it's going to take you? Like it took forever. People to see Hamashiach. That was in the 90s that came out. Took forever to brothers and sisters to catch on to that. That's important. Because there's many Yahushai or Jesus, if you want to say that, or Yeshua, or whatever name you want to use. But there's only one, Hamashiach. And they ain't asking, were you Jesus? They ask you, are you the anointed? Are you the Messiah? Because there's only one Messiah. There's only one Hamashiach. Hear the word of the Most High. Ain't no humility in this. Ain't no humility in this. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Despising our brothers and sisters that ain't even had a chance to come in yet. Or maybe died not even hearing the word of the Most High. You gonna make that judgment to say that they don't have opportunity? You gonna judge them? For what happened? What's gonna happen to them once they die? I've done funerals. Ain't nobody come back from what I had to say, from what the word says, and say this, that, and the third about anyone that died. That's in the casket. I mean, they want me to get up there and speak. I bet you they ain't come back with whatever they usually do in them funerals. Because you're gonna tell me where they at once they die? That person, you might make a judgment upon them for what it is that happened to them after the spirit left them and went upward to the Most High? I don't think so. That's why you better humble yourself, man. People think they righteous and despise others, despising our brothers and sisters. Like when I going down Skid Row, don't steal our brothers and sisters. That's in the condition that they're in. People think they all that because you ain't that far from a paycheck being right there with them. They change the monetary value today or tomorrow. Cut you off of whatever it is you got coming in. Some of them down there just because they lost their job. Or there was $50 short on the rent. They ain't have nobody to go to for $50. I heard all kind of different explanations of why they there. And everybody down there ain't on no drugs either. Don't think yourself so high-minded that you can't understand how to be humble. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. Listen to what my sacrifice said. 2 men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. Pharisee and the publicans, tax collector. And the Pharisee, religious leaders dealing with politics with the Romans. Always coming against Mashiach Yahushua. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. You hear what it said? The Pharisee stood. All you prideful people, the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. With himself. Because he said, the Most High ain't hearing him. Listen what he said. Most High, thank thee that I am not as other men are. See? Thinking he all that, right? I am not like other men are. Extortioners, unjust adulterers, or even as this publican. The man right there, he said, I'm putting him down right there, standing beside him. Putting him down. Some of you that high-minded and so prideful that you think you so much better than the lowest of we, the children of Israel. Better hear the word of the Most High. Do it, Mashiach Yahushua. What he saying? He uplifting himself like he's somebody. He better than the publican, the tax collector that's right there. He said, I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven. He got his head down. He said, he ain't lifting his head up to the Most High in heaven. but smote upon his breast, saying, the Most High be merciful to me, a sinner. He repenting. Hit his chest and say, hey, Most High be merciful. Don't give me what I deserve. He said, be merciful to me, a sinner. Admitting that he break the laws of the Most High. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. The publican went down to his house justified rather than the Pharisee. That's why he said, our righteousness must what? Exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees and scribes to enter into the kingdom of heaven. He said it for a reason. You see it right here. Thought it was all that. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalted himself in your pride, thinking you all that, shall be abased. You're going to be brought down. And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. There it is. He humbled himself, repenting before the Most High, and said, be merciful to me, a sinner. See, that's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. But see, when you don't really look at what it is that the examples that we have here to see what works and what doesn't work, then you're going to be caught up in the wrath of the Most High. His fire. He say, I'm going to melt you. He said, I'm going to melt you. Look. Go to 2nd Esdras. Can't bring this out enough. Hopefully, somebody will hear. 2nd Esdras 7. I'll give you examples of humility. And hopefully you leaders will hear this and bring it to your congregations. 2nd Esdras 7. And we're going to look at verse 49. Ezra was given 204 books, y'all. 124 more books than we have here. Because we got 80. And most people that call themselves a Christian, they only got 66 books. Because y'all took the 14 books of the Apocrypha out of the original King James 611 Bible. So hear the word of the Most High. Because it's in the original King James 611 Bible. 2nd Ezra 7 and 49. But what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time? That means living forever and ever and ever, y'all. Whereas we, including Ezra, who was a righteous man, have done the works that bring death. You see how he included himself in that? It said, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, include himself, a righteous man, being most wicked, are made vain. You gotta hear this. And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. Now, how you gonna make Ezra be righteous in his own words from these words, if thou can? Like y'all want to act like y'all so holy than thou, and putting yourself way up here above all our people. You're missing it. Hear the word of the Most High. Verse 52. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all. You see how you include himself? We have walked in the most wicked ways of all. And that there should be showed a paradise, the kingdom, whose fruit endureth forever. You know that the fruit gonna last forever. Wherein is security in medicine, since we, including himself, shall not enter into it. So now look. What is this to the Most High? When you go to 2nd Esdras 8 and 48. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High. Talking to Ezra. From what he just said. These are mysteries that's been hidden in the Most High from the beginning of time. That are very important to see. Remember what my sacrifice said, how my sacrifice just said. He that exalt himself shall be abased. He's going to be brought low. He that humble himself shall be exalted. Listen what it says. 2 Ezra 8:48. And this also thou art marvelous before the Most High. This how you marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself. See? What you just heard was humility. Like the publican, he didn't think he was worthy to hold his head up before the Most High. He repented that, told the Most High, I'm a sinner. Have mercy on him. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. See? This is what's coming out in this lesson. See, he didn't think of himself to be much glorified among the righteous. That's why he said we ourselves are wicked, including himself, even though he is righteous. This was marvelous before the Most High. In that also thou art marvelous before the Most High. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. See, that pride is a damnable thing, man. It's hateful before man and the Most High. But misery is going to be upon a lot of people on this earth because they walked in great pride, thinking they all that. Look at me, though. Y'all need attention. You know, somebody got to show you attention for you to be somebody. You ain't got to do nothing. As far as I'm concerned. Period. Said, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, when the last days, y'all, shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride, thinking you all that. That's what most I say. He had a poor man that's prideful. What's the reason you got to be prideful? Barely making it, but then still you all that. Men and women, you know. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. But understand now for thyself, he said, understand this for yourself, Ezra, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. That's very important. Remember that. He's telling Ezra, seek out the glory of such as be humble and not prideful. So when you look at this, you cannot be with those that are so prideful that they leading the people to hell. This misery that's going to come on this earth in these last days because of pride. And if your leader's prideful, so is his servants. His officers, everybody going to be prideful because they're going to follow the way of the leader. As an elder, I'm telling you, tell your elder to look at this and change. If he's not already here, seeing it. Because it's very important. He said, great misery is going to be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Very important. Because he told Ezra, sometimes, you know, the Most High speak once, and man perceive it not. But he told him, hold on, let me get another pocketbook, because I got a, it's been used, so I gotta get another pocketbook here so we can get understanding here. This is what he told Ezra. In 2nd Ezra 14, because he says, seek out those that be like Ezra, who was humble. He didn't include himself as one of the righteous. 2nd Ezra 14 and 9. He said, but thou shalt be taken away from all. And you know that Ezra going to die. And from henceforth, once you die, thou shalt remain with my son, and with such as be like thee. So you think it's not important to seek out those that are like Ezra, who was given more books than any prophet, 124 more books than any prophet. We have lost the law. Most I gave it back to Ezra. He said, for thou shalt be taken away from all, meaning you're going to die, Ezra. And from henceforth, herein, once you die, thou shalt remain with my son, and with such as be like thee, until the times be ended. See, Ezra will be with a Mashiach Yahushua until the times be ended. But see, it was told him that, but a lot of times, you know, we, most I speak once, say twice, but man perceive it not. That's why we have the complete volume of the books to be able to look at this in these last days and have the understanding more so than our brothers that was of old. Because look what Ezra said. Prime example, I'll give you an example. Remember he said, hey, once he died, he's going to be with a Mashiach Yahushua to the end. So listen to what he said in 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Because he's from 14, 15 to 16, these chapters, you're getting prophecies of the end times. He's seeing it. He showed it. 2nd Ezra 16 and 17 say, woe is me. Destruction is me. Woe is me. He said, let me read it. Let me read it before you get there. Let's start at let's start at verse 13. These are prophecies of the end times that we're in now. It says, 2nd Ezra 16 and 13, verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Right? The right hand of the Most High is the Mashiach Yahushua. But now he's an angel of the Most High. Hanging out with Michael, the archangel of war. Say, strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. So the only thing we can think of is nuclear missiles, right? But he got something beyond that. Listen to what it says. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. See, these plagues, over and over again, one after the other, are sent. Where? Upon this earth that we in, as it is this day. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backwards. When that arrow is shot, it's going forward to reach its mark. Even so, the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. When he sent them plagues out, as we see now, they ain't returning again. We can see one after the other. This is what he said. That's what Ezra said. Woe is me. That's reincarnation, regeneration right here. This is what Ezra said. Woe is me. Destruction is me. Woe is me. Destruction is me. Who will deliver me in those days? He said, who will deliver me in the time that we live in now? The end of the world. The last days. The beginning of sorrows, he said. And great mournings. The beginning of famine. Biden says food shortage. I mean, it's here. Shelves being empty. The beginning of famine, food shortages, and great death. More people have died in the last 2 years than ever in my life. And great death, he's saying. The beginning of wars. And the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. Hear that? Beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? When he was told, hey man, 2 Ezra 14:9. But thou shalt be taken away from all. You're going to die, Ezra. And from henceforth, from herein, thou shalt remain with my son. From herein, Ezra, you remain with a Mashiach Yahushua. And with such as be like thee. That's why he say, seek out those that's like Ezra. That's humble. Not consider themselves as one of the righteous. Until the times be ended. See? He missed it. But it's here for us to see. Because we're reading it. And he's going to be just like it says when you read 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, 16th verse. You'll be part of this. These that's coming. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For Mashiach Yahushua himself shall descend from heaven, like he ascended to heaven, he's going to descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead that have died by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua shall rise first. This is Ezra. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, in the chariots of the Most High that they're talking about now. They got to give an explanation. Because these chariots of the Most High, they show themselves everywhere. They just popping up, boom, 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 all over. Psalms 104:3 says the chariots of the Most High. The clouds are the chariots of the Most High, vehicles. What they call flying saucers, they call UFOs, we call them IFOs, identified flying objects. Here it says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Mashiach Yahushua in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Most High Mashiach Yahushua. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. So that's what's coming with them. You see? The dead and the died in the name of the Lord and Savior are going to rise first. See? That's why I tell you that in Revelations. Eleven, 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, just like we just read. And the enemies beheld him. We know what the enemies going to be saying. We just read that in Wisdom of Solomon's 5th chapter, the 2nd verse to the 7th verse. What they're going to be saying. We just read that. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, destruction, that he just said them arrows being shot into the ends of the earth. And the 10th part of the city fell, and in this earthquake was slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were frightened, that's the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel, and gave glory to the Most High power of heaven. See, it's going to happen, y'all. That's why we got to be ready and prepare ourselves in the right spirit to know what works. That's why, look, you see what Ezra said. Look at Daniel, the 9th chapter. It's very important that we see what it is that our ancestors left here for us to follow, so that we can do the same thing. Look at what Daniel's saying. Let me make sure that you understand. Remember, Ezra didn't have to come back here. Daniel didn't either. Daniel 12 and 13. He told Daniel, say, but go thou thy way till the end be. Remember, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. He say, but go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. See, he had to come back here. That's why when you look at 2nd Ezra, you're not going to see Ezra and you're going to see Daniel's name as far as those that's coming back to this earth. You ain't going to see their names. When he tells you, we go to 2nd Ezra, the first chapter, and we'll just start at verse 35. It says, your houses will I give to a people that shall come. Let's talk about us now. Meaning our bodies. He said he's going to give our bodies, he's given us new bodies from our forefathers, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me. Gonna have faith in the Most High. Ain't heard of the Most High truly of the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Y'all know about God, a lot of you, but you don't know about the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now you hearing of him, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I commanded them. We're going to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High in repentance. They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. You see? Only way you're going to call your sins back to remembrance, you got to go over the laws of the Most High. Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws. They're going to call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. See, I take to witness the grace of the people to come. That's us today, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, because the Most High is an invisible spirit. He is a spirit, but he's an invisible power. We have not seen him with bodily eyes, yet in spirit, they believe the thing that I say. See? That's why you got to know him. The little that he's given us of him. His ways and thoughts, not our ways and thoughts, but the little bit that he's given us, you better be knowing him. Listen, and now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east. See if you see Daniel or Ezra here, because remember he said Ezra, they're going to rest in their life. Unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hosea, Amos, and Michael, Joel, Obadiah, and Jonah, Nahum, and Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Most High. See? Messengers. That's why he said, hey, they're ministers of the Most High, bringing forth the word of the Most High. You didn't see Daniel. You didn't see Ezra in that list there. You see? Because he already said they're going to rest in their life. So now, look what Daniel said in Daniel's 9th chapter, coinciding right with how Ezra was in saying that we have sinned. We ain't nothing but filthy rags. He already said that. We heard that. Same thing. Meaning they don't think they're so righteous. They don't think they're righteous at all. Listen, this was marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. We just read it, right? So let's see what Daniel said. Daniel 9 and 9. To the Most High, our power belongeth mercies and forgivenesses, though we, including himself, have rebelled against him. I just want you to see how this was marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. Neither have we, including himself, even though he have, obeyed the voice of the Most High, our power, to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Hear that? Including himself. So when you start to look at those that are exalting themselves, they're going to be brought down. All you think you are that, you're going to be brought down. I'm not supposed to, I just told you. He gave the example of the Pharisee and the publican. Both of them we ain't like. But he said, hey, that publican is more righteous than that Pharisee who's supposed to be bringing forth the law to the people. Verse 11, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we, including himself, have sinned against him. That's what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. That we don't think that we are that when we just learn how to read. Come on. And a lot of you ain't really bringing forth this understanding of this Bible. But your leaders, and you're high-minded, you think you're all that. But you ain't bringing forth this truth. These mysteries that's been hidden in the Most High enough to have our people humble themselves. You can't, how are we going to be delivered when the only time the Most High delivered us and had pity on us when we cried to the Most High? If you prideful, thinking you all that. Some of y'all probably think you are the Most High, the way you act. You definitely think you're Hamashiach Yahushai, like you're going to save somebody. Look what Daniel said. Verse 14. Therefore have the Most High watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. But the Most High, our power, is righteous in all his works, which he doeth. For we, including himself, obeyed not his voice. This was marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. And now, O Most High, our power, that has brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and have gotten thee renown, as at this day. We have sinned. We have done wickedly. Don't it sound familiar? But what we just read in 2 Ezra 7:49 down, what Ezra was saying, the same thing you're seeing here. We, ourselves, including themselves. That's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. We have sinned and have done wickedly. O Most High, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city, Jerusalem, thy holy mountain, because for our sins, including himself, and for the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach, a disgrace to all that are about us. You see? So, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Over and over again. We sin it. Whether you see or forbear, it is written. This was marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. Look at Isaiah 64th chapter, the 5th verse. Isaiah 54 and 5. And we're going to move on. Isaiah 54 and 5. For thy Maker is thine husband. The Most High of hosts is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the power of the whole earth, shall he be called. For the Most High have called thee as a woman forsaken, and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth. When thou wast refused, said thy power. See, for a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, said the Most High, thy Redeemer. See, keep that in mind, y'all. But it's only for those that's going to humble themselves and accept what it is that worked. That our ancestors left here, as you can hear, those that have ears to hear, can hear what works and change. Isaiah 64 and 6 again. But we are all as an unclean thing. You're not? He said, for we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. He said, all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf.
As joined.
And our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. And there is none that calleth upon thy name, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee. But thou hast hid thy face from us, and hast consumed us because of our iniquities. See? Like we read. Can't get no clearer than this. That's why it's very important that we see this and change. Or this gonna be your consolation right here, baby. See, our people are something else, man. Go back to Luke. The 9th chapter. And verse 51. Luke 9:51. And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. He knew it was his time, and sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. They didn't receive him because he said his face going toward Jerusalem. And when the disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Mashiach Yahushua, Master, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elijah did? They related to Elijah. So you want us to call for fire to come down from heaven to consume them. They don't want to receive Mashiach Yahushua. Listen to what he said. But he turned and rebuked them, see, and said, you know not what manner of spirit ye are of. So you don't know how you rolling in the wrong spirit. Don't you know you rolling in the wrong spirit? For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. So he said he ain't come to destroy men's life, but to save us. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Master, I will follow thee wheresoever thou goest. I'm going to follow you wherever you go. And myself shall said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. See, I ain't got nowhere to lay my head, man. And he said unto another, follow me. Say, follow me. But he said, Master, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Say, follow me. He said, Master, let me go and bury my father. It's deep. Master said unto him, let the dead bury their dead. But go thou and preach the kingdom of the Most High. He said, let the dead bury the dead. That's deep. That's real deep. He said, let the dead bury the dead, but go and preach the kingdom of the Most High. In a dead state of mind, that you know his father wasn't dealing with the understanding of the truth. And another also said, Master, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. Let me go home and tell everybody I'm getting ready to do this. I'm following you. And my sacrifice said unto him, no man, have he put his hand to the plow And looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. When that time come, the Most High call you, because he the one that called you, you know. And he allow Messiah Shai to do the choosing. Through his judgment, the Most High judgment. That's why he say, no man, have he put his hand to the plow, and looking back. That's why he said, let the dead bury the dead. You looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. You got to go and deal with those that's in a dead state of mind. You say, you ain't fit for the kingdom of the Most High. That's deep. That's real deep. That's why we got to really look at this, and these are examples that we have to change. Look at go to Mark 6:32. It says, and they departed into a desert place by ship privately. So they went into a desert place on a ship privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew them. The people saw them departing, and many knew them, knew Mashiach Yahushua, and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and outwent them. So they in the ship, trying to roll in the ship privately in the water, and people knew he was in that ship, and they on land following him. And the people saw them departing in the ship, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities. They running to keep up with the ship, following where it's going, and outwent them, and came together unto him. And the Mashiach, when he came out of the ship, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them. He was moved with compassion toward the people that follow him afoot, on their feet, waiting till that ship land. Look, you hear what it said? And ran afoot thither out of all cities. Cities. They walking. They running to keep up with the ship. Afoot thither out of all cities, and outwent them, and came together unto him. Verse 34, the Mashiach, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with